Simple Steps weekly series. Why are you an entrepreneur? And sharing the trials and the triumphs, as well as some wisdom for other entrepreneurs who are out there. I'm Maureen Edwards. I'm the founder of 8 Simple Steps. And for those of you who have been following us for a long time now, I work with entrepreneurs to reduce the mistakes, the overwhelm, and the complexity of either working with them to start their business, build their business, or scale their business. And I use a proprietary blueprint that we do it in 8 simple steps. So we make the process streamlined for you. So I came up with this idea for this series in which I interview rock star entrepreneurs at various stages in their business and in numerous industries across the entire world. And it's specifically for those entrepreneurs out there who are on this journey and need to hear what's going on with others, either for tips, resources, insights, and inspiration. And when I say I have rock star entrepreneurs, I truly mean it. And tonight is no exception. I have with me Crystal Fox, who is the creator, the producer, the host of her very own podcast, Crystal Ball, Clarity of It All. And welcome, Crystal. How are you?
I am so glad to be here right now, hands down. And just, I love what you're doing, and you're bringing so many new things to light, especially for entrepreneurs and new entrepreneurs, and you're supporting them. So I'm so glad you're having me on and calling me a rock star.
You are. You are. And you know what? You're also supporting entrepreneurs by doing this. So, one thing, it was kind of a dual purpose. I wanted to elevate the industry authority and the expertise of the people who are my guests, but really at the same time, you are living it, you're doing it, you are experiencing the entrepreneurial journey, and you can give some really good feedback. And one of the things that I am so impressed with you, Crystal, isn't just starting a podcast, which this is about as live as I'm going. I am not doing any podcasts. So anybody who's created one like you have, and I want you to share why, but you are venturing into entrepreneurship, and I want people out there to know that you're keeping your day job for this. And we're going to talk about how you're working both of these. So, but explain to me how you started your podcast.
Yes, and I have to tell you, this is very much a live podcast. So I would call you a podcaster like the rest of us, hands down.
No, I can't. You guys, the show notes thing, and you got the music and the recordings. It's just much more polished and elaborate. I'm just here having conversations, and I probably should do it as a happy hour and we all get our wine and have fun. I think that's probably the next step. That'll be how it evolves, right? So tell me, how did this even come about?
So for me, I really found podcasting as a source of really helping my mental health. It allowed me to find my voice again. I had experienced a loss in my life, and I was navigating that, but I wasn't sure how to, because I think most of us get into that position when life throws us a curveball. We're like kind of scrambling. What do we do next? And I picked up a mic. I sat down with my husband and I said, I want to be a podcaster. It was something I always listened to, especially comedic or informative or entertainment wise. I would just throw it in my ear and I would go about my day, whether it's listening at work or hitting the gym and just being, I would do like the random laughing when they say a joke. So I was like, I can do this. I can do this. I got this, So it all started in a closet with my $25 mic that you're looking at that I still have to this day. A lot of people think you need the extravagance of an entire studio. I'm here to tell you that you don't. $25, Amazon.com. Go check it out. And I call him Mike. But for me, it was just my passion. It was me finding me again. And I think often in life, we find those like moments where our voices are kind of taken away, or we've had to take a step back. And it helped me. I was just kind of talking at first. I was talking about the things that inspired me, from plus size to the way that I see life should be lived for me. And it helped me. It kind of just shattered the wall that I had kind of put up. And this all started in 2018. So it's now being 4 years later. It is so eye opening because I've really stepped into mental health also for myself because I wanted to share the journey and break the stigma because mental health isn't just about being happy or sad. There's so many things that kind of navigate us. We deal with different emotions, different experiences, and I know it was so great for me to hear other people's stories because I felt alone. That's why I was just in, I had like that little piece of the world with my mic in a closet. As you can see, we have stepped out of the closet.
Yes,
Um,
you've evolved just a little bit, right?
just a little bit, not much. Sometimes I want to go back, but it's not great for video. Um, but I would have to say my passion, and I didn't know where it was ever going to go whatsoever. And then I had gotten to a point where I was like, this is it. Like I was meeting, and I still, I mean, I've met you, Maureen, just
Mm.
people who have navigated from going through the foggiest parts of their life, and they're willing to share it and be vulnerable. They're willing to step out just like what you're doing now and bring people in to show them what the inside of things look like, not just the perfectionisms and the things that we scroll through and often see, which TikTok has definitely helped as well. But
Oh,
podcast and going live and having these conversations is a part about, catering to our mental health, telling our mind this is what it looks like. This is the journeys people go through. It's not just that you get to be a millionaire one day. Like you don't just wake up and be a millionaire. And it kind of there, I feel like there's layers, honestly.
so are there certain guests that, 'cause
Mhm.
some podcasts have a theme, there are themes with these where, I love the mystery ones where that's all it is. It's just mysteries and any
Yes.
guest would be a detective or, so who do you pretty much focus on? And, you talk about mental health, but is there a
Mhm.
specific audience that you want to reach?
Yeah, I often say it was me kind of a few years ago. I think of the woman who is going through something, whether it's infertility or something health or mental, and you're just lonely. You don't know where to navigate from, but you
Mm.
know that you're sick and tired of being where you are because it feels like you're going nowhere. And it's a lonely, lonely journey feeling like that. So I really want, like, my audience is that it's very much me a few years ago and starting to dip their toes into mental health and what it looks like for them and putting themselves first because that is the biggest thing ever that I have had to learn. So that's who I'm catering to, hands down.
I absolutely love this because one, you made a decision like I don't want to live like this anymore. And and that's for people out there who feel kind of isolated right now and they don't know what direction. I mean,
Mhm.
Crystal is sharing, something that could be a good outlet, and it doesn't have to be, I guess what you're saying, super complicated or super expensive, but it can be like a real healing process. And meeting, people. We've all been so isolated, I think, for so long. But this is typically how businesses start. Not only do we see a need out in a marketplace that we jump on and we say, I'm going to seize this opportunity, but it's also
Mhm.
there are passions out there. And a lot of businesses become very mission based, but monetized because we know you can't fulfill doing what you're doing and making
Mhm.
an impact unless you bring in money, right? That is the whole purpose. But they start like you have and made it a passion, made it a mission. It started personally, and now look at how many people you're able to impact with doing this.
Yeah, it's been eye opening because I do want to touch on the money aspect because I didn't want money to touch my passion. And through my mental health and working through it, I realized it was my relationship with money. And I had to heal what that looked like for me and say, wait, like I can actually do more and help more people, bringing in the monetization. And I had to heal that part. And not a lot of people realize that that was kind of holding me back for a little bit with starting entrepreneurship.
And that actually is very common. I find a lot of people who are very mission based, um,
Hmm.
they get caught up with how can I possibly take money for this when I'm multiplying my impact. But you nailed it. You can actually multiply your impact more
Yeah.
when you're able to do what you're doing, but at the end of the day, also being able to bring in an income for you to keep sourcing this and expanding it and reaching more people. So I think people have to get it out of their head that even if you're doing something that is mission or religious based, or you just understand that it takes money to be able to run this, and without it you're not going to be able to fulfill anything. So I think that's very important what you just shared. So how has this expanded into other areas of entrepreneurship? Like, you started a podcast, and then did other things grow out of this that you're looking at?
Oh my goodness, so much. I have to say that my vision board workshop, it was something I was always doing, but I didn't necessarily share with everyone because, I was kind of just hidden before really announcing everything I was doing. But vision boards helped me navigate my goals and actually look at my dreams. And that was huge for me. Like I said, I didn't put myself first. I wasn't asking myself what I wanted. And now I get to see my dreams with my business. I get to see other people create things that they want for themselves. And that is where, like, I just explode. Like, I just feel all
Mhm.
like I'm getting chills as I say that because I've just seen so many people come to me and say, Crystal, I've done so much on my vision board that, like, I need to make another one. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is what I wanted because it's just a different mindset. And I have sat there and supported really creating different spaces as well for women in the childless, child free space,
Mm.
and talking about mental health with other coaches, and just getting to meet even doctors that have different perspectives to help. So it just has expanded so much. On top of, to be honest, like, I've learned so much about marketing because marketing is totally different from what it was 10 years ago. And I
Oh no,
ran,
10 months ago.
well,
It is so fluid. It changes every minute. I can't even keep up.
mhm.
But so
TikTok's probably changing right now.
it totally, we better all get over there and look at the new algorithm. So, but yes,
Hmm.
so there is a difference, and you're making your way through what marketing and what.
I mean, marketing, analytics, content creation. This is not something I thought, being a podcaster, that you would wear actually a lot of hats that have to do with entrepreneurship so that you can reach people, because reach is so important. Now, I'm okay with one person listening to my podcast, but I think about just how many, if I could get that out to so many more people. So you're talking about ad space and understanding your KPIs, understanding your whole planning of your system, or even better yet, all the back end items. So, all your administrative, your taxes, LLC, understanding all of those things about building the foundation of your business. And honestly, having a full time job has allowed me to just take a step back and look at how I can start with just like building that foundation.
So I want to address the fact that you have a full-time job, but I do want everybody to know
Mhm.
out there that I have participated in Crystal's vision board workshop. And I have to say, I have never done a vision board. I told you that before. I was like, oh, this is
Mhm.
going to be fun. This is going to be creative. But it was so much more than that. Exactly like what you're saying. Something can be super fun and creative, but really moved the needle in areas of my business. It was personal, family, even my dog. I mean, it had my life there in like a snapshot that I still have. So anybody who's out there who wants to experience this, and again, something else that came out of a passion and now a mission, I think this is a theme here. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, it was fabulous. So kudos to you
Thank
for
you.
starting that and putting these workshops together. And I personally have watched you grow tremendously. We've participated in masterminds together, and I'm amazed as an entrepreneur. You are taking on all those things behind the scenes, and you're doing it with that full-time job. So, all right. If somebody is in this situation where they want to be an entrepreneur and they have a full-time job, what advice would you give on how to do this?
My advice, because I even told you that some people will tell you just to jump and believe in yourself. Well, you can believe in yourself working a 9 to 5 and let that 9 to 5 be what pays for your dreams that you're building. That means there's no rush. You get to actually learn the ins and outs, and then you can delegate. You get to teach someone else once you get to that point. So I think that there is so many different ways that you can look at it. I often say we look at our job to completely fulfill us, but like build your life as your dream, not just your job. Let that just be what funds your dreams, whether it's going out or really stepping into entrepreneurship, because there's so many different elements. And until you dive in, you have no idea. Just like I said, with podcasting, I didn't realize all the hats that I would wear. And I'm glad that I took the time to learn them. But each and every day, is it a juggle? Yes. Am I an organizer? Yes.
Oh, yeah. I can attest for that. Yes. You're a planner. So what's the long-term plan? If somebody, has the day job, and you're saying keep it, I say the same thing, do exactly what you're saying. Have somebody else pay for the long-term vision that you have. So how much time do you dedicate to, I guess we would call what you're doing the side hustle entrepreneur type of thing? So how many hours a week do you work your entrepreneurial endeavor?
I feel like it varies because it depends on my level of like even doing interviews or the content creation. I would say pick and choose, because you do have to figure out what's right for you, and not everyone has a full 9 to 5. Sometimes you're working 14 hours a day, but find the things, I would say anywhere from 10 to 18 for me. So think about like a part-time job aspect. But also when you are sitting there and finding those hours, I want you to find hours for fun. I want you to find hours for fun creation, because you will start to implement that more into your passion. Where for me, I never want this to feel like a job. I never want it to just be my job. I really show up in purpose and in passion, and it's something that I'm choosing to do. So I'm not looking for anyone else to validate what I'm doing outside of there. And I think that's important. So look at the hours that you can, because there's areas that you're probably already, dedicated to or committed. Or for me, I'm an overcommitter at heart. So I had to sit down and say, what's my list? What's on my vision board? What am I focusing on for the next 3 months? And then pick and choose and give yourself grace.
So venturing into entrepreneurship, has that made you better at your day job? Are you taking skills that you have learned from there and able to excel at that?
Hands down. I've always been a business-minded person. And when I shifted out of running a full-blown business, I see every piece now. Like I see how the marketing and processes and communication, which is so key in any business. And I just get to stand back and I can say, I can work on this right now. And I'm good at prioritizing and time management, as you know, my business bestie. And it's just kind of taking it on. And when you're applying it in other areas of your life, it almost just becomes natural. You're like, oh yeah, I got to send, these emails out, for guests, or let me send this celebrity an email. You know what I mean? Like you are just more apt to do it as like a day to day. But I can see it in other people's businesses and my day job. And I want to fix everything, but we should also know I'm a fixer.
You're a planner. The fixer, you're so highly organized. Those are all like really important skills in entrepreneurship. In fact, I feel like you have
Mhm.
every skill in entrepreneurship, and it's not possible. So
Yes.
it just isn't. You got to capitalize on what you're really good at.
Mhm.
But the thing is that even if marketing wasn't your forte, you go out and search for people to help you with it or to learn as much as you can and apply it that way. I always say the
Yes.
hardest thing in marketing, it's reaching, but then it's also influencing them. Like, are you giving them the right message to
Oh my
acquire them?
gosh.
And then once you acquire them, you got to nurture them and retain them. So it's like a constant thing, and it's for
Mhm.
everybody to do that. It isn't just for new entrepreneurs. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and it is the constant battle out there. So
Mhm.
I feel like that's probably one of the hardest things in entrepreneurship. Is there something that you found that has been was the most difficult for you? Is there one thing that stands out that was a real trial?
Taking my first step, deciding, making the decision the end of last year. It was literally, I was speaking on a stage and I said, I'm stepping into entrepreneurship come the new year. Like the first initial step of committing was very hard, but I also have to agree with you. The things that you're not so good at, like Maureen, I've learned so much from you, especially about trademarks and understanding what that process even begins to look at because you're so talented in that area. Find the people and really invest into people in those areas. Like Maureen is definitely someone to invest in to help you in your business. Trust me. Trust me.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I think committing in that way, like you can't do everything. I'm very good at organization, but I still am limited on, how many hours in the day to do
Mhm.
everything. And I so look for those people that can also help you and invest in them because they'll invest back.
It it is great advice, and I have said it many times talking with people, you can't Google your way to building a business. You can only get so much knowledge out there. You can't
Yeah.
YouTube it. And that may be, you know, a few add-ons and an additional knowledge, but at the end of the
Mhm.
day, you can't do it. And I always say to people, if you were driving down the road and your car broke down, would you get out and take a look at it, pull out your phone and Google how to fix it? Probably not. It's not your forte.
Yeah.
You'd be calling the tow truck, right?
Help me now. Don't-
Exactly. So here you've got your livelihood
Mhm.
on the line, you've got your passion on the line. And so why would you YouTube that? Like, how do you think building a business is YouTubeable? Is that my new word? Are you YouTubeable?
Ooh,
I
YouTubeable.
have a new word. That's the word of the year because we all choose a word of the
Trademark.
year, right? Right.
Trademark it.
Yeah, exactly. So your advice, I appreciate you sharing that with it because I do
Mhm.
find that one of the greatest challenges entrepreneurs have today is asking for help in the areas that they're not strong at.
Mhm.
Hiring mentors, hiring business strategists, hiring marketing people. It will it's huge to move your business. So
I
so
agree.
do you have a timeline in your head, being the planner you are, as to when you think you want to jump into this full time? Are you waiting for a certain aha moment?
Mm, that's a good question.
Yeah. Am I
You
putting you
know,
on the spot?
this is pretty good. Um, for me, I think granted, you can set a goal and meet it. For me, it's like like 3 to 5 years. Do I think
Mhm.
I will get it to it sooner? Probably because I know myself. Um, but an aha moment, I would have to say, and I can't really share everything.
It's okay.
Um, but I've obviously had some time. I've been focusing on my health, and I don't know if it was the 102 fever or what it was, but I
Mhm.
had just this like time to think about what's next for me. And I know that I want to continue to do my podcast, but go more video. and really bring on some heavy hitters. So I made a list, and you got to hear that list of
Yes.
people.
Tell the list, tell everybody the list of people you were going to focus in on for your podcast, because this was impressive. I thought I was, a great guest on there and on the list, but this is nothing.
First of all, you were amazing. I think I literally like launched at you like I need to have you on. Can we book like tomorrow? I,
It was
I
so
want this
fun.
out in like a week. Jamie Curtin Lima is one of the top ones, and then I really want to actually have Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, I love her.
She, oh my goodness, and
You guys would hit it off so well
that's what I
too.
think.
I think you're very similar to her in like so many ways. I think you would be like sisters on there. Yeah.
Oh, she is someone I followed since I was super young, since American Idol, and I was like,
Yes.
when the cord was like it actually attached to the phone, and you could call in and vote. So
Yes.
for me, I followed her ever since then, and she doesn't know it, but she has taken me through some dark times, and oh my gosh, so many different breakups. The list really goes on. And then I actually went Avril Lavigne because one of my favorite songs. I just found out this year Avril wrote the song I've been singing for years, and it felt like it was literally the story of my life. Like
Which
I
one
was
is it? Which one?
Breakaway.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Come to find out, Avril wrote that, and I never knew. And I was like, this is it. This is like, the girl from a small town that breaks away from everything that she knows. And that was super big for me. My newest one would be Brene Brown. She is someone who I have been listening to for like the past month constantly. And I had heard a little bit about her, or people would say, Brene Brown says this. And I didn't really know all of her work, but she is someone who I would love to have on. And I'm really looking for the people who aren't scared to talk about mental health. And like Jamie, she sat there as a curvy woman who literally men were commenting on her body while she was doing business. And it was so eye opening how she overcame. And I mean, literally, under eye, yes, this. She did it cosmetics. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have her stuff. I was just so excited. I read her book, and it was a year ago that I listened to one of her conferences, and I just got so inspired. Like tears like coming down my face, like inspired. I read her book, I think it maybe a day, like 24 hours. And she's number one right now. So some heavy hitters that I
Yeah.
want to come on. Yeah.
And I know that will happen because I know the type of person that you are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to say, what is your greatest success so far in entrepreneurship? What are you most proud of?
Not giving up and believing in me. And that kind of sounds cheesy, but more it's like of an investment in
Yeah.
myself. Like there's so many things that you begin to understand. Like you do find areas that, hey, I need help over here. But then I can sit there and tell you right now, like I'm great at organizing. I'm great at doing this because I've taken the time and I've invested into me. And I think that is what literally gives me like the fuel to keep going in so many different ways, because I know that there's someone else out there like me, and I just want to set the example, like you can do it, but you got to put yourself first.
Great advice. So, for all you entrepreneurs out there, keep your day job,
Yes.
organize an exit plan, and make sure you do it and monetize it. You can be mission focused. And then I think the last thing that I got is you got to put yourself first. And if you're at the top of your game, you'll be at the top of your game in whatever else you do.
Mhm.
So tell me, how can people get a hold of you if they are interested, especially in doing a vision board, listening to your podcast? So how do people reach Crystal?
Okay, currently Instagram is my favorite. I'm peeking over at TikTok, but you can follow me over. It's at THEE Crystal Fox because there's many of us. Or you can go to www.crystalballclarityofitall.com and you can sign up for the vision board workshop. I have some freebies and the podcast is literally right there. You just boop and hit play and message me. There's even a contact. So I would love to hear from you.
Love it. Oh, Crystal, you have been amazing. Just like I knew you would be. You are just a really special person. I have just loved getting to know you. And I expect huge things from you. It's already big enough, but I think things are going to get bigger for you. So I want to say thank you for coming on. And certainly, I want to make sure we follow up to see where this journey is going. And when you will take that leap and when you are 100% out there, then you've got to give us a follow up and let us know how that's going. So,
oh my goodness, yes. And thank you so much for having me. I miss seeing you.
You very, very welcome. And for anybody who would like to be a guest here on LinkedIn/Facebook Live, please reach out to me. You can go right to my website at 8simplesteps.net. I have a contact form there. I have an email too, which is goldfish@8simplesteps.net. Let me know what's going on with you too. And if you need anything as far as talking about business and where your next steps should be, go ahead and reach out. We're here for you. We'll be back next week at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with another rock star entrepreneur. Good night, everybody. Take care. Thanks, Crystal.
Thank you.